I feel like we all get to this point when we are in our careers or content creators or creative people in general. And you're just like, what am I doing this for again? Like, what's the point? Does anyone care? I'm bored of what I'm talking about. Or, you start to have these thoughts about why what you're doing or what you're saying matters. And I feel like this is a very healthy thing to go through when you've been doing something for a while, whether or not you've had success. You still have these thoughts. And I don't necessarily think it's imposter syndrome. I think it's just a natural progression of you growing and evolving as a person and as a creative person and as a business person and all of these different aspects of yourself. And I personally have been going through that for quite a while now. I'm like, who do I want to be? Like, what legacy do I want to leave? Who do I want people to know me as? What do I want my life to look like? And that's a big reason why I'm on this millionaire mission, because I feel like it's pushing me to become the person and to embody the person that I have been like moving in the direction to become. But it's just kind of giving me that extra nudge. And I'm seeing so many creators burn out, feel just overwhelmed or underwhelmed with what they're creating. They've been cultivating a brand for a very long time, and now they're just starting to feel annoyed by it or just irritated or unfulfilled. And it's almost kind of like when you have a goal and you reach that goal and you get there and you're just like, wait, this was what I was this was what I was waiting for. And it's not to say that you're not grateful for getting to that point, but it almost feels like it should feel different once you arrive. I don't know how to explain it outside of the way I just explained it, but I I don't know. And then you get to this point and you're like, does my brand or my business even represent who I am at this point? I think one of the most underrated business topics is how to let your business evolve with you as a person. Because if you stay the same, you get lost in the sauce. You just simply can't stay the same as you were when you first started. If you change, people are like, oh, I missed when you used to do that. I missed when your brand or your business looked like X from years ago. And so it's kind of like you're always stuck in between this rock and this hard place. And I can think of so many influencers and so many brands who have made shifts and pivots and grown. And it's almost like the heart of their brand is lost, or the founder wants to pivot because it no longer represents who they are. This is a really, really tough place to be in. And I feel like I'm talking to a very niche group of people, because there are so many people who don't even get to experience reaching their goals because for whatever reason, they just haven't made the decision to go after them. And now I'm at a place where I'm like, okay, I'm excited for what's next. I feel very creatively motivated. I feel very driven toward what it is that I want to do. I feel like I've kind of found my footing. I haven't announced what that thing is yet, but in the back end, we're working through some things because I'm just really excited to kind of evolve and take things to the next level. Now, I say all that to say because building a personal brand is the foundation of building a strong business in 2025 and beyond. I feel like, yes, you can solve a problem with the business. That is still a tried and true way of starting a business. You don't have to have a personal brand in order to create a business that works. However, in today's age, having a personal brand can literally set the foundation for not just one business, but so many businesses, because of all of the opportunities that you connect with your community on. So like for me, I can think of so many businesses that I could have started. I mean, I started my membership club. I started Top 3. I have a course. I mean, these aren't all businesses, but these are all ways that can be monetized and scaled just from having a strong personal brand. Because once someone trusts you, then they are comfortable paying you. And that trust unlocks so many things, and it just funnels people right into your paid offers or into your businesses. So if you think about people who have strong personal brands and then they have strong businesses, their businesses just take off. Because for one, what makes a personal brand strong? Because before I get into how having a strong personal brand sets you up for having a strong business, we first have to figure out like what actually makes a personal brand strong. I think the biggest thing that makes a personal brand strong is having perspective. You cannot have a strong personal brand if you just have zero perspective. And that's not even just personal branding is not just on social media. Now, granted, that is like the biggest, most popular way to build a personal brand today and to do it for pretty much no cost and yield huge results. But before social media, people had personal brands and it just that was who they were known to be. Mostly celebrities or people who, you saw on TV or in your local communities, leaders in your community, but that's still a personal brand. Now, today, I think you have to have perspective, especially online because there's just so many creators. There's so many people who have personal brands now that in order to stand out, you need some perspective. So when I say perspective, I mean what sets your thoughts, your patterns, your actions apart from other people? Why do you think and do things the way that you think and do things? And that is the filter that you need to be creating content through. And thinking about your why, your purpose, who you want to impact, how you want to be known, what your greater purpose is. I don't know, I might have already said that, but all of these things impact your point of view. And when you can bring that point of view into your personal brand, then that just allows for people who also think and do things and have similar patterns and different connection points with you to know you, like you, and trust you. And that is the foundation of marketing. So now I feel like business is actually kind of flipped around. You can start a very strong personal brand with no business in mind, and you can create a business by leveraging your personal brand simply because you have baked in know, like, trust factor, which is getting people to know you and know your brand, getting them to like you, and then building that like into trust. And once people trust you, they will always buy whatever it is that you recommend at least one time. So, for example, this is why you see so many influencers, even though they don't necessarily have a product or a service that they're offering, if they are doing affiliate marketing and they're recommending something, or if they have a brand deal with a company they really love, or just no deals at all, like they're just sharing something that they love, something that they use, you have a high chance of going to buy it because you trust their perspective. And however they've curated that trust is up to them. Now, smart influencers, not necessarily all smart influencers, but a lot of smart influencers are going to leverage that influence even further and create their own business to give them longevity, to scale outside of just themselves. Becoming the face of a brand is a lot easier than being the entire brand, which you are when you are an influencer. And so that is what makes for a strong personal brand, when you have people who trust you, who are in your community, who you can convert. Okay. And that trust doesn't necessarily just mean you are selling all the time. It just means that when you say something, they listen. And when they listen, if you need them to take action, they will. So I say all that to say, building a strong brand is the foundation of starting a business nowadays. You can start a business, but if you don't have any demand, it's like, what's the point? When you have a strong personal brand, you have demand already baked in because people already trust you. So now if you decide that you want to start and you've been, having this home interior design YouTube channel, you go and you hunt for the best, home decor at all these different stores, and you decide you want to launch your own pillow line because that's your thing. You always find the best pillows, and now you've sourced fabrics and you found a way to make these luxury pillows for less. and you share that with your audience, the demand is already there because you've already cultivated a community who cares about not just interior design, but they care about you, they care about your perspective, they love your taste, they love all of these finds that you've made. They've purchased things that you've recommended already and it was amazing in their homes. Like all of these things make a strong personal brand, and you are able to leverage that power and that trust by starting your own business. So that's the difference between having a strong personal brand and having a business. And what I think is the smartest way to go into business these days, unless you are solving a real problem with what it is you're creating, like you've invented something, it's patented, it can be sold, it can be sold. When I say sold, like it can be sold to like a big company. Then it's almost like you should go this route of trying to build a personal brand so that way your community can really tell you what it is that they want from you. And this is what we did with the eBrand Club and also what we did with the Top 3 Notebook. Like I didn't just come up with any of that stuff. Honestly, when I started my channel, I had no idea that I would even shift into the branding slash social media slash creator economy realm. I was just documenting as a videographer and who had like as a girl who had a media company, sharing all the things that I was learning about business as I was living with my parents. So I didn't think that this is where things would be evolving to. But as you start establishing your personal brand and your audience begins to tell you what they need and what they want from you, that demand, you want to listen to that so you can start that business and really monetize in a way that your community needs you. So anyway, I say all that to say, I love building my personal brand with my Nikons. This portion of the video is sponsored by Nikon. You guys know I love my Nikons. I'm a Nikon girl, okay? I'm actually filming this video on my Nikon ZF. She is amazing. I take so many of my thumbnail photos with this camera because the camera, like the photos are so freaking good, you guys. Like I am obsessed with this camera. Not only is it so aesthetically pleasing, it comes in like all these different colors. I have the orange one. She's so cute, but it's just great for video too. So I like to use this camera, the Nikon ZF, a lot for my sit down videos. So you will see most of my videos, like if you see my reels and stuff on Instagram and I do like time lapses while I'm recording, I'm 9 times out of 10 using the Nikon ZF because the quality of the video is so darn sharp and crisp. And then also I love using it in low light because it just does so well. On top of that, it's not super heavy. It is a little bit more, has a little more weight to it than the Z30, which is what I use for most of my vlogs. But otherwise, I think the ZF packs a huge punch. It's a little bit more advanced. I know I talk about the Z30 all the time, but I have got, some of my millionaire mamas out there who are like, I want to go up a notch. I want that like tip top quality. I'm looking for, a camera that takes incredible photos, does insanely good video, is not too big and too confusing, but still, something that can really grow with me, then I would 100% would recommend the Nikon ZF. So if you are interested, I will leave the Nikon ZF info down below. Again, this is like a everything camera, okay? If you are looking to build your brand, you need photos for your website, you need photos for Instagram, you need thumbnail photos, you need videos, like a nice video for your website, a nice video for you create YouTube content, like any of that. I feel like this camera is just so perfect for like that intermediate to more advanced person who's like, okay, I've got the entry level camera already. I'm ready to take it up a notch. I want to make a bigger investment into my content, into my brand. Then I highly recommend the Nikon ZF. So I will leave that information in the description box below. Okay, so some of my favorite influencers who have leveraged their social media and turned it into huge, amazing businesses. Shay Mitchell, she's the founder of Base, the luggage company, and she just kills it. I mean, granted, she was a actress. She played in Pretty Little Things, I believe. And she had some level of like fame. However, that doesn't mean anything. Like, I feel like people love to make that excuse, like, oh, she's famous, like, no wonder, like, of course she's rich. But honey, no, there's a lot of famous people who have very weak personal brands, who, start businesses and they always fall through, or just don't have the demand or the acumen to start a business in general. So definitely love Shay Mitchell. She has taken base worldwide. I mean, this brand is huge. I see the luggage everywhere. I see their branding is just so on point. They're so up to date on all the coolest, latest marketing trends, and just they do such a great job at appealing to their target demo, which is like millennials and Gen Z, and like they're the cool girl luggage. So really, really love what Shay Mitchell has done with base. Also, another perspective would be somebody like Tabitha Brown. I've talked so much about her. I have a full video case study on Tabitha Brown and how to build a successful lifestyle brand, because that's exactly what she's done. And she has so many businesses. She's got Donna's Recipe. She's got so many lines. I would say Donna's Recipe is like her main business. However, she's got, her McCormick seasoning. She's got all of her stuff in the store that starts with a T. She's got so many cool things. She's been acting and stuff. She has all types of business ventures that she's done. She's authored 4 books. Like, Tabitha cannot be stopped, okay? And we love that for her. I think she is a true testament of building a personal brand from ground zero, and how powerful and exponential that can be when it comes to the amount of opportunities that can come from simply having a strong personal brand and pouring your whole self into it. Not just showing, I'm vegan, so I'm only going to show y'all food stuff. No, Tabitha, she gives us inspiration. She gives us food. She goes to restaurants and tries stuff. She shows her personality. She prays. She does all kind of stuff on her brand, with her brand, and she really pours her whole self into it, which is why I think all of these different opportunities work for her. Another person who I think has done a really good job at building a strong personal brand and leveraging that into a business is Jackie Aina. Talked about her a lot as well. She is the beauty influencer turned lifestyle/luxury influencer turned entrepreneur with her fragrance company called Forever Mood. And I think she's done a great job with, evolving her content, because at one point she was just beauty, like strictly beauty. And then she kind of started easing more into that luxury lifestyle, fashion, luxury, just like luxurious home, always smelling good and fragrance, and just like looking like rich woman vibes. I ain't gonna call her no auntie because she might block me, okay? But just looking rich, and we love that. And so she segued that into Forever Mood, which sells candles, which sells fragrances. And I think she's done a great job as well at marketing that and, evolving her brand into something that's monetizable and scalable. And so I think I'm saying all of this to say that even though, just to kind of circle back to what I said in the beginning, even though it feels like, okay, I got here and now it's not hitting like how I thought it would, I've reached these goals and now it just feels like there should be more. And when you feel like that, sometimes you worry, like, is there just going to be this constant rat race in life that I'm constantly chasing more and I'm never satisfied and I'm hitting my goals, but there's always just the goalpost just keeps moving. And that can be discouraging, when you work so hard to get somewhere and then it's just not what you expected it to be. But I feel like the answer to that is yes, there is always more. It's just a matter of figuring out what more is worth chasing. Like, it might not be money that you're chasing. It might be like you need to start a hobby, or you need to do something that pours into you. It might be, maybe you're ready to start a family and get fulfillment in that way. Like, I don't know what that looks like for everybody, but all I'm saying is that building your brand is not always only about what you're doing for work. It's honestly the best brands are built from people who are confident and who know the perspective and the point of view they want to put out into the world. And I feel like you can't do that if you don't feel confident and comfortable with who you are as a person. For me, I feel like I'm finally tapping into where I want and see like Erin on Demand going, because I feel just confident about who I am now. I feel confident as a wife, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, as a content creator. And I'm trying to not question myself so much and just lean into the idea, lean into being open minded more and not writing things off. You know, something that I've written off for years is now something that I'm like, wait, maybe that is a good idea. You know what I mean? Like maybe I've gotten to a point where I've evolved in a way that that's not completely off the table anymore. This is an idea that I'm like actually really excited about now. And I don't know, I think you have to be open and give yourself the chance. And so now it's not so much about chasing more as it is about giving myself the opportunity to be more open-minded. And that's just that. And like as your brand evolves, your audience will evolve with you because they're so invested, they're so excited, and they trust you. And when they love you, that's the best part about a personal brand, is that when your community is connected to you deeply, then it almost doesn't matter what you do. Like you can shift and pivot, and of course you're going to drop people off on the way and you're going to pick new people up as you evolve. But that's the beauty of it. It's like there's no right or wrong way to go about things as long as you lead with purpose. And that's just that. So I hope I wasn't rambling too much because I really did not have an outline for this. But sometimes I told y'all, I'm trying to get out of only doing listicle things and teachings. And so a lot of these kind of naked thoughts are on my Substack. So if you're not subscribed, please go subscribe because we have a really good time over there. Okay. And I'm just so thankful for the community that I'm building over on Substack. So I will leave my newsletter description. I'll leave my newsletter in the description box, and I will see you guys on the next one.